My beloved child, this message comes to you at a very serious and sacred moment because something important is happening in the energy around your life and the life of someone you deeply care about, and this is not meant to frighten you but to awaken you, because many times what looks like sudden tragedy is actually a slow chain of ignored warnings, silent suffering, and unspoken pain. And right now the universe is whispering to you that a person close to your heart is walking on a path that could lead to great loss if nothing changes, not because they are cursed, not because fate is cruel, but because human choices, stress, exhaustion, emotional wounds, and unhealthy patterns can slowly push a person toward danger without them even realizing it. And you have been given this message because you are one of the few who can feel when something is wrong even if everything looks normal on the surface, and that feeling in your chest, that sudden thought of them, that urge to check on them, that is not imagination, that is intuition, and intuition is how the divine speaks through the human heart. And the tragedy being shown to you is not a fixed future but a possible future, one that can still be changed if someone chooses to step in with love, awareness, and courage, and that someone is you, because you are connected to them by more than blood, you are connected by soul. And when souls are connected they send signals when one is in danger, and right now their spirit is quietly calling out for help even if their mouth never says it, and many people think they will have more time, more chances, more tomorrows to say what matters, but life does not always wait, and that is why this message is urgent, because small actions taken now can prevent massive heartbreak later, and you may be wondering how simply calling someone, visiting them, or talking to them could make such a difference, but it is in these small moments that timelines shift, because loneliness kills more people than accidents, stress destroys more bodies than disease, and silence causes more pain than any harsh word ever could, and when someone feels seen, heard, and supported, their entire inner world changes, their decisions change, their strength returns, and what was once a dark road becomes a survivable one. And this is why you are being asked to not ignore this message, because ignoring intuition is how people end up saying, "I wish I had known," or "I wish I had done something," and those words carry a pain that lasts a lifetime. But when you act now, when you show love now, when you reach out now, you become a shield around someone's life, and the divine works through people like you to prevent suffering, to protect what is precious, and to bring light into places where it has been fading. And you do not need special powers to do this, you only need the courage to care, because care is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, and this message is reminding you that your heart is not weak. It is a weapon against darkness, and if you listen to it, if you follow it, you will not only protect someone you love, you will also step into a higher version of yourself. The version that does not turn away when something feels wrong, the version that stands up for life, connection, and love. And this is why this message found you today, not tomorrow, not later, but now. Because now is when your choice matters most. Now the message goes even deeper because when the universe gives a warning it is never to create fear but to activate responsibility, and you must understand that you are not being told something is wrong to feel powerless, you are being told because you have the power to change what is coming, and the person you are thinking about right now did not enter your mind by accident. Because the heart never sends signals without reason, and there is a quiet struggle happening inside them that they may not be sharing with anyone, a weight they have been carrying alone, and when someone carries too much alone, their body begins to weaken, their mind becomes overwhelmed, and their spirit begins to feel trapped, and that is when accidents happen, illnesses grow, and dangerous decisions are made, not because they want to be harmed but because they feel lost and unseen, and this is where you come in. Because your presence has the power to remind them that they are not alone, that their life matters, and that they are loved more than they realize, and love is not just an emotion, it is medicine, it changes chemistry in the body, it calms the nervous system, and it gives people the strength to survive what would otherwise destroy them. And right now the universe is inviting you to become that medicine for someone you care about, to speak when silence would be easier, to reach out when staying busy would be more comfortable, and to show up when part of you wants to avoid the seriousness of it all, because avoidance is what allows tragedy to grow quietly in the background, and you may think that one person cannot make that much of a difference. But every life that has ever been saved was saved by someone who chose to care when it would have been easier not to, and if you look back at the most meaningful moments of your life you will see that they were not created by luck but by people who showed up for you, and now you are being asked to be that person for someone else, and this is not a burden, it is a sacred role, because when you protect someone's life, even in small ways, you become part of a miracle, and miracles are not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes they are as simple as a conversation that came at the right time, a visit that broke someone's loneliness, or a message that reminded someone they still mattered, and you must not underestimate how powerful those moments are, because they can pull someone back from the edge before they even realize they were standing there, and that is why this message is repeating itself inside you, why you keep thinking of them, why you keep feeling that nudge to act, because the divine speaks in gentle persistent whispers, not in screams, and when you listen to those whispers you align yourself with a higher purpose, the purpose of protecting life, connection, and love, and you do not have to be perfect, you only have to be present, because presence is what saves people more often than anything else. It speaks to the moment you are standing in right now, the moment between acting and delaying, between listening to your heart and ignoring it, and most tragedies are not created by a single event but by many small moments where people chose not to act, not to speak, not to reach out, and right now you are being shown a crossroads where your decision can alter the path of someone's life, and you may feel unsure because you do not have proof, you do not have dramatic signs, but intuition never gives proof, it gives feelings, nudges, and quiet knowing, and those who listen to it often save themselves and others from suffering they never fully see, and the person you are being guided to think about may look fine, they may laugh, they may go about their daily routine, but inside there could be exhaustion, stress, or sadness that is slowly wearing them down, and when that happens people become vulnerable. Not just emotionally but physically and mentally, and vulnerability is where danger enters, whether it is through illness, accidents, or harmful choices, and this is why your role matters so much, because when you bring awareness, care, and connection into someone's life you close the door to those dangers, and you must remember that you do not have to solve their problems. You only have to show them that they are not alone, because when people feel supported they find the strength to keep going, to take better care of themselves, and to choose safer paths, and this message is not asking you to be afraid, it is asking you to be brave enough to love out loud, to say what you feel, and to be present in a way that and if you hesitate because you are worried about being awkward or intrusive, remember that it is always better to care too much than too little, because no one has ever regretted loving someone. But many have regretted staying silent when their heart told them to speak, and the divine has placed this awareness in you because you are meant to be a protector in this moment, not through force, but through compassion, attention, and genuine concern, and when you choose to act from that place you align yourself with a higher purpose, the purpose of preserving life and preventing pain, and this is how ordinary people become extraordinary, not by doing grand things, but by listening to their heart when it matters most. There is a deeper reason it reached you and not someone else, and that reason is that you are emotionally connected to the person who is in danger of losing their balance in life right now, and when two souls are connected they exchange energy, meaning that when one begins to struggle the other can feel it even from a distance, and that uneasy feeling you have been getting, that sudden thought of them, that urge to check on them, is not coincidence. It is communication, and the universe uses people who are sensitive, loving, and aware to protect others, because protection does not always come from doctors or authorities, it often comes from a caring voice at the right time, and the danger being shown to you is not necessarily a physical death but a breakdown of health, hope, or direction that could lead to serious consequences if it continues, and this is why your role is so important, because you can interrupt that downward path simply by being there, by listening, by encouraging, and by reminding them of their worth, and when someone feels valued their body responds, their mind clears, and their spirit regains strength, and this is how many lives are quietly saved without headlines or recognition, and the reason this message is so intense is because you are being invited to step into that role right now, to be the person who notices, who cares, and who acts. And you may feel that you are not ready or that you do not know what to say, but you do not need perfect words. You only need honesty and love, because love has a way of reaching people in places that logic cannot, and this is your reminder that even the smallest gesture, a call, a visit, a message, can shift the energy around someone's life and bring them back from a dangerous edge. And when you choose to follow this guidance you become part of something much bigger than yourself. A flow of protection and healing that moves through the world one caring heart at a time, and that is why this message found you. You must understand something very important now because this is where most people misunderstand divine warnings and miss their chance to change what is coming. And the universe does not send you a message like this because something is already lost, it sends it because something can still be saved, and the energy surrounding the person you care about is not one of fate but of fragility, meaning their life is standing on emotional, physical, or mental pressure that could turn into something dangerous if it is not eased, and pressure always looks invisible until something breaks. Just like a glass that seems fine until one final drop makes it shatter, and right now that person has been carrying more than they show, and you are being shown this because you are one of the few who can sense what is not being spoken, and the tragedy being warned about is not a curse, it is a build-up, and build-up can always be released when someone intervenes with care, connection, and love, and that is why this message is so focused on you, because you are not powerless here, you are a key, and keys do not look powerful but they open doors, and the door you are being asked to open is the door of communication, presence, and emotional safety for someone who may feel trapped inside their own struggles, and when a person feels trapped they become tired, careless, hopeless, or reckless, and that is when accidents happen, when health declines, and when dangerous choices are made. But when someone feels seen and supported, their body relaxes, their mind clears, and their will to live and protect themselves becomes stronger. And this is why something as simple as your voice, your visit, or your message can change everything, because it sends a signal to their nervous system that they are not alone, that someone cares, that their life matters, and the body responds to that signal by choosing survival over collapse. And you may not realize how powerful this is, but science and spirit both agree that connection saves lives, and right now you are being called to be that connection, not tomorrow, not when it is convenient, but now, because timing is everything when it comes to prevention. And this is where many people hesitate because they do not want to seem dramatic or intrusive. But love is never intrusive when it is sincere, and caring is never wrong when it comes from the heart, and if you stay silent out of fear of being awkward, you allow the pressure around them to keep building, and that is what this warning is trying to stop. And you may not know what they are going through, but you do not need to know the details, you only need to open the door so they feel safe enough to share. And sometimes all it takes is one person to change the entire trajectory of another person's life, and that person is often the one who listens to their intuition instead of ignoring it, and that is why you are being spoken to now, because your intuition is awake, and when intuition is awake, miracles become possible, and this is your moment to choose whether you will step into that miracle or turn away from it. Now we move into the most important part of this message, because awareness without action changes nothing, and the reason this message keeps coming to you is because your heart already knows that something needs to be done, and when the universe repeats a feeling, a thought, or a name inside your mind, it is not coincidence, it is instruction, and the person you keep sensing is not asking for a miracle. They are asking for someone to notice. And that is where you come in, because noticing is the first step towards saving what matters, and you must understand that people do not fall into danger all at once, they slide there slowly through exhaustion, emotional pain, stress, and loneliness, and every day they pretend they are fine while inside they are struggling to breathe through the weight they carry, and when someone reaches that point they do not always cry out for help, sometimes they go quiet, sometimes they withdraw, sometimes they keep smiling while breaking inside, and that is why this message is so serious, because quiet suffering is the most dangerous kind, and you are being asked to be the interruption to that silence, to be the one who breaks through it with genuine care, and you may not feel prepared, you may not know what to say, but the truth is you do not need perfect words, you only need presence, because presence tells someone that their life matters more than their problems. And when someone feels that their nervous system calms, their heart opens, and their will to protect themselves returns, and that is how timelines shift, not through magic, but through human connection guided by divine intuition, and right now your intuition is telling you to reach out, to check in, to show love, and if you listen to it you will never regret it, because even if nothing dramatic was going to happen, you will have strengthened a bond that makes life safer and more meaningful for both of you, and if something was beginning to go wrong, you will have stepped in at the exact moment you were needed, and this is what it means to be guided, not to know everything, but to act when your heart calls you, and the universe has chosen you for this role because you are strong enough to care, brave enough to speak, and kind enough to make a difference. And this is why you must not this message, because it is not about fear, it is about love in action, and love in action is the most powerful protection that exists. Listen very carefully now, because this is where everything truly changes. This is where a warning turns into a miracle if you choose to move instead of waiting, because the energy around the person you are connected to is not asking for panic, it is asking for presence, and presence is what stops tragedies before they happen. And you must understand that many of the worst moments in life do not arrive suddenly. They arrive after long periods of exhaustion, emotional neglect, stress, and quiet suffering that nobody notices until it is too late, and that is why the universe chose you, because you are someone who notices what others miss, someone who feels what others ignore. And that sensitivity is not weakness, it is spiritual strength, and the reason this message feels heavy is because something important is at stake, but heaviness does not mean hopelessness, it means importance. And right now you are standing at a doorway where one small action can change everything, because when you reach out, when you speak, when you show care, you send a powerful signal into the other person's life that they are not alone, that their pain is seen, and that their life matters. And when a human being receives that signal, their entire inner system shifts, their mind stops racing, their body relaxes, and their survival instinct becomes stronger. And this is why love saves lives more than anything else. And the mistake people make is thinking they need to fix everything, but you do not. You only need to open the door, to be the safe space where someone can breathe again, and that safe space can prevent accidents, prevent illness, prevent dangerous decisions, and prevent despair, and that is the real meaning of having the power to stop tragedy, not through control, but through connection. And if you choose to follow this guidance now, even if it feels uncomfortable or awkward, you will never regret it, because one day you will look back and realize that this was the moment you chose. My beloved child, this is where the message gently closes, not with fear but with strength, because everything you have felt, everything you have read, and everything that stirred inside you was meant to awaken the protector within you, the part of you that does not turn away when something feels wrong, the part that chooses love even when it feels uncomfortable. And now you must carry this awareness forward, not as worry but as quiet courage, knowing that when you follow your heart and act with care, you become a shield around the people you love. And that shield does not have to be loud or dramatic, it only has to be real, because real love is what keeps people safe in ways the world never sees. And even if you never know what you prevented, even if nothing dramatic ever happens, you will have strengthened a connection that makes life more stable, more loving, and more protected, and that alone is a miracle. And from this moment on you walk with a deeper understanding that your presence matters, your voice matters, and your love has power, and when you live with that truth you not only change others' lives, you change your own. And so take this message into your heart, not as a burden but as a blessing, because you were trusted with it for a reason. And that reason is that you are capable of being a light when someone else is in the dark, and that is one of the greatest roles a human being can ever play. Let these words now settle deeply into your heart, because this message was never meant to rush past you, it was meant to live inside you, guiding you gently but firmly as you move forward from this moment, because you have been shown something sacred, the invisible threads that connect your life to the lives of others, and those threads are woven from love, care, memory, and shared energy, and when one of those threads begins to weaken, the whole web feels it, and that is what you sensed, that quiet shift, that emotional nudge, that subtle unease that made you pause and listen, and by listening you honored something very powerful, your intuition, and intuition is the voice of love speaking through you, and it does not shout, it whispers, and it does not demand, it invites, and you accepted that invitation by being here, and that choice already changed something, even if you cannot see it yet. Because when awareness enters a situation, protection follows, and now as you walk forward, you carry a softer heart and sharper eyes, more open to the people around you, more ready to notice when someone is struggling, more willing to reach out when something feels off, and that is how the world becomes safer, not through force or control but through millions of small acts of attention and kindness that quietly hold everything together, and you are now part of that gentle force, whether you realize it or not. And there may come a moment when someone smiles because you checked on them. When someone breathes easier because you listened, or when someone chooses to keep going because you reminded them that they matter, and you may never know how important those moments were, but they will ripple through time in ways you cannot measure, and this is why this message was given to you, because you are capable of creating those ripples, of being that steady presence in a chaotic world, and as long as